Skip was born around 1963 and raised in Los Angeles. Throughout his youth, he moved all over L.A. County, from Compton to Inglewood to South Central. These neighborhoods were dominated by various gangs, including the Rollin' 60s and the 8-Tray gangster Crips, among others. Growing up in these tough environments, Skip was constantly exposed to the presence and influence of legendary street figures like Tookie Williams, who commanded fear and respect, and also Monster Cody, who was closer to Skip's age. The Cali legend. The 1970s were a turbulent time in L.A., especially for kids trying to survive and earn respect. Gangs like the Bloods and Crips were rapidly forming, and young people were often forced to prove themselves in violent ways. For a kid like Skip, just trying to be normal was a challenge. He constantly encountered bullies and kids trying to test or intimidate him. Skip's earliest experiences with Crips were brutal. He remembers them picking on and preying upon others, and himself. He was often forced to fight back just to defend himself. Early on, figures like Monster Cody and his crew would harass Skip regularly, trying to rob and fight him and intimidate him. For years, Skip lived in gang territory and eventually moved into the turf controlled by the Rollin' 60s. It was there that things escalated. One day, while walking home wearing a red jacket, he was spotted by members of the Rollin' 60s, who beat him unconscious. That incident forced Skip to leave the area. With families scattered across the region, Skip bounced around a lot, attending various schools as he tried to stay out of the gang lifestyle. At one point, his mother sent him to San Diego to lie with relatives and escape the chaos of South Central. But even in San Diego, trouble followed. He got into fights, was expelled from school, and ended up in juvenile detention for stealing cars. Eventually, he was sent back to South Central and moved in with his grandmother, who lived in the heart of rolling 20 Bloods territory. This move meant Skip now had to attend Dorsey High School, a known hotspot for gang activity. The school was filled with members of different gangs, including the Black P, Stone's BPS, the Rollin' 20 Bloods, the Rollin' 30 Crips, the Rollin' 60 Crips, and the West Boulevard Crips. Dorsey was especially dangerous for any known blood, and Skip found himself in constant confrontations, particularly with the Rollin' 30 Crips, who would press and challenge him daily. By this point, Skip had never had a good experience with Crips. Living in Blood territory, he began to feel a stronger sense of belonging. Eventually, he was taken under the wing of a Rolling 20s member and started affiliating himself with the set. Officially joining the 20s meant Skip was now at war with several Crip factions and Southside gangs. The Cali War. The Rolling 20s had a long list of rivals, including the Schoolyard Crips, the West Boulevard Crips, the Rollin' 30s, and the Rollin' 40s. From this point forward, Skip's life would become deeply entangled in LA's gang wars. Crips weren't the only gang Skip encountered. He also dealt with Southside gangs like the Mid-City Stoners and 18th Street. Even after officially joining a gang, Skip still tried to live a legitimate life, working regular 9 to 5 jobs. But everything changed around 1983 when crack cocaine flooded the streets. Skip started hustling on Washington Boulevard, deep in Rolling 20s territory. He saw the kind of money his homies were making and decided to get in the game. Quickly, Skip became immersed in the drug trade. Selling drugs helped him form connections with gang members from different areas. While it was uncommon at the time, he managed to build ties with several Crip sets, some of whom he even supplied. In fact, Skip found himself doing business and moving product in Crip-controlled neighborhoods. But not everyone was okay with that. Some Crips didn't appreciate Skip's presence or dealings, and tensions quickly escalated. He found himself in multiple shootouts and dangerous altercations. In one case, a Crip even stole his car. Despite the risks, the money kept flowing. Like many hustlers of the era, Skip expanded his operation beyond L.A., eventually landing in Las Vegas. There, he got involved in trafficking. But that chapter ended with a major drug bust. Skip and several of his crew were arrested. Reflecting on the era, Skip has said, "Go home, dice, get high, get drunk. But now with cocaine, you had something, a way to make money." With cocaine, even the ugliest dude with a second-grade education could feel like a king. Skip accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 5 years in the Nevada prison system. He was released in 1988. After prison, he returned to hustling, dabbling in scams and drugs again. He ended up in Kansas City and had another run-in with the law, but narrowly avoided more jail time. By 1989, Skip was back in LA and began driving tow trucks, a job that introduced him to even more Crip members. As a Rolling 20 Blood, his growing ties with Rolling 30 Crips were unexpected. He started taking trips out of town with some of them, pushing product together, but his own neighborhood took issue with him associating with rivals. It created tension and distrust. By the mid-1990s, Skip was juggling it all, running drugs, gangbanging, and towing cars. But he couldn't do everything at once. The pressure caught up with him, and he was arrested for attempted murder. He faced the possibility of life in prison, but ultimately beat the case and walked free. That moment was a turning point. Skip decided to leave the streets behind for good. While he would occasionally serve time here and there, he began to focus on a more stable life. He took towing seriously and made it his full-time job. Community worker. By the 2000s, Skip started aligning himself with community-based programs like Unity One and Jim Brown's American Initiative, both dedicated to uplifting urban communities and steering gang members toward a better path. Inspired by their mission, Skip began mentoring youth in his own neighborhood, looking out for the next generation and keeping them off the streets. In 2006, Skip launched his own peace initiative, Second Call. The program focused on organizing peace talks and sit-downs between rival gangs. Over time, Skip became a well-known figure in gang intervention across LA County. Through Second Call, he helped countless young people and former felons find jobs, earn high school diplomas, and avoid returning to the streets. To this day, Skip remains deeply committed to uplifting his community. He's told his story across multiple platforms, and even runs a YouTube channel where he spreads his message of peace and redemption. As Skip puts it, I promote peace selfishly, because I don't want to be the dead homie. I want to be alive and well, not dead or in jail. I want my children to live, not die or end up in prison. I want my grandkids, so I push peace every day. He continues, here's the thing, even by default, I don't want you dead. I don't want your kids or grandkids dead. So for those who say, we ain't with peace, listen, if we survive, have kids and grandkids, and don't change, we're just raising children to kill each other. That's genocide. Don't say you don't agree with me. Don't stop me from promoting peace, because the life I save might be yours. I'm trying to save your life as much as mine. Stop fighting me. Skip Townsend's journey is a powerful example of growth, redemption, and the impact one person can have on the lives of many.